This video is for you if you just started building your website on Wix and you realized you don't really know what you're doing. You thought it was going to be as easy as the ads say, just drag and drop and you can build a website in 10 minutes, but it's not turning out that way. We're going to do a quick tutorial of the Wix Editor, and then we're going to build a really simple homepage. Let's go. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to wix.com and click over here on Get Started. You'll be prompted to sign up with an email and a password, and click sign up and you'll be into your brand new Wix account. If you already have a Wix account, you're probably seeing something like this, a screen like this with a dashboard, where you're going to go click on this button up here, create new site. If you've just created your very first Wix account, you're probably seeing a site like this right away, where it asks you to choose how to design your studio site. Now, here are two choices here. There are two editors. There is the Wix Studio Editor, and that's what this is prompting you to design on. And you can see over here, extend design capabilities with the Wix Studio Editor. Now, this editor is for agencies, it's for experienced designers who have designed sites before, know how to use an editor, maybe know how to code. It's going to be way too complicated for somebody who's brand new. If you hover over this, build on the Wix editor, you can see it change over on the other side here. Design your site on the Wix editor, start from a template, or let Wix generate a site for you, which is not what we're going to do. Manage your sites from within your studio workspace. So it's really confusing. They're calling two things studio. They're calling your dashboard, this whole thing where all your sites sit and everything, they're calling it your Wix Studio workspace. But for example, in here, this is a site that is built on the Wix Studio editor. This is a site that's built on the regular editor. You can't tell the difference, and this is called Studio, this is called Studio, and this is the Wix editor. So just to clarify that in case you get confused, what we're going to do now is we're going to ignore this. We're going to ignore Studio, we're going to ignore Studio template, we're going to ignore Studio blank canvas, and we're going to go down here and we're going to build on the Wix editor. So click on there. Now, we don't want to chat about our website. We're good. So we're going to set up without chat. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a lot of no thank yous right now. So what type of website do you want to create? I don't know yet. So let's skip that. And it's going to prepare a website dashboard for you. All right, what would you like to call your website? You can name it something. You can just name it. I'm just going to name it Barrett. And if you, what it's asking you these questions for, do you want to sell products, offer services, build a community? It may add a store to the site if you say you want to sell products. It may, let's see, add a community, membership to the site. If you click that, we're just going to say nothing for now because we can add everything later. If you don't add a store at this point, it's easy to add in the store. So I suggest just starting from scratch, and we'll add everything in as we go later. Again, here, add a store, add bookings, add events. Nope, we're just going to continue. And we're going to go dashboard. And we're back here. We're going to go into design site. Do you want to generate a design with AI? No, the AI sites are very boxy looking. They just don't go here. We're going to go and pick a template. Now, template, if you want a blank site to start from scratch, that is a template too. So we're going to go into pick a template. And here are the blank templates. Now, you're going to be really tempted to start looking all through here and find something that looks pretty that you think you can put your website on. Now, here's the difference. When you build a blank site or a site from a blank template, you will know exactly how the site is built. You'll know every layer, you'll know you'll know how you put it together. These sites are all built by another person. and you'll have to figure out how they did it and how they constructed it. And it's a whole lot easier to figure it out if you did it yourself rather than if somebody else did it. Secondly, it looks, you look at these sites and it looks like, oh, I could just put my site into that. I could put my content in there. It never turns out so that your content fits perfectly into one of these sites. You always want to move things around or change things or add things, and it's just better, back to templates, it's just better to start from scratch. Trust me on this one. So we're going to go into blank templates, and again, these other templates in the blank templates are really just templates. They just don't have pictures attached to them. So this is what you want. So we're going to go in here, we're going to edit the blank template. Okay, here we are in the editor. Quick tour. We're going to start up at the upper left-hand corner here, page, home. And if you drop down this little menu here, it's just home. If I had a whole bunch of pages, they would be listed down here. And this is a really easy way to switch from page to page when you're in your editor. When you put a menu on the editor and you've got like home, about, services, you don't switch back and forth in the editor, obviously using the menu on the website because you're in the editor. So this is how you switch back and forth from page to page. You can also use this pages and menu down here, but we'll get to that in a second. Right here is how you switch, click off that. Right here is how you switch from desktop to mobile. And those are the two different editors, the desktop editor and the mobile editor. I've done a whole video on editing your mobile version, and I'll put a card for that here that you can click on if you want to see that. Moving over, we've got very important undo and redo. The undo button saves your life so many times. You can click this 10 times and undo 10 things you did. If you do something and you're just like, oh my God, what have I done? Just go back, and you will get rid of it. This zooms out. Tools, search, publish, preview, save. So we're going to save. It saves automatically, so you don't have to worry constantly about saving your site. It's a good idea. I do save frequently. It's a good habit, but it will automatically save for you, so you will never lose everything you did, for 2 hours or something like that. Preview shows you what your site's going to look like live. Publish allows you to see the site in a URL. And I just go ahead and publish. It says so anyone can see it. It's not like if you press publish, the site's going to be live on Google and everybody's going to see it and you're going to be humiliated because it's not done yet. That's never going to happen. So I publish constantly as I'm building a website. Just don't connect your domain name until you're ready for people to see it. All right, next thing we're going to go to is this strip down here. The thing you're going to use most often is this plus button. And if we click on there, add elements, all the things you're going to want to put on your website are in here. Text, image, buttons, strips, decorative. You have to kind of guess what some of the things mean. Boxes, and this is, boxes that you can attach text inside of and move around. Galleries. Here's where your menu is. Contact forms, videos and music. Interactive is, slideshows, and repeaters, which are useful. Lists are also repeaters. You don't know what I'm talking about right now, but keep watching my videos and I'll explain it all. Social, payments, all this stuff is in here. All right, so that's the add button. And this is add a section. This is a section here, and that's to add one of those. And pages and menu, that's where it shows you your pages. Just like I said it did up here, it shows here, but you can do more here. You can rearrange them and things like that. And site design, that's where you set your fonts and your colors. And apps, I'm not going to go into all of these other things because we're not using those today. Lastly, this section up here where it says Site Settings, Dev Mode, Hire a Professional and Help, you're not going to be using right away either. I don't click on up here a lot while I'm building. Dev Mode is if you want to write code, you're not going to be using that. Hire a Professional is if you want to hire somebody like me to help you, but you don't need to because you can do this yourself. And Help here is where you can get support articles for anything in the editor. You can search it and it'll give you help on how to do that thing. Okay, so that was the super quick tour. So what is on the site? What it looks like to you right now is a big blank screen with nothing on it. But really there are 4 things on this screen. There's the very back of this. Think of it in layers, going from the back furthest away from you to the front closest to you. The back is the page. You can't really touch the page. You can't put something on the page. It's just sitting back there with 3 things on it. The first thing that's on it is the header. The second thing that's on it is this section. And the third thing that's on it is this footer. So those are the 3 things that are sitting on the page, and you can put things on the header, you can put things on the section, and you can put things on the footer. But the page just kind of is the background of all that. And we've got these 3 options here. Choose your starting point. This little these little options just popped up this week, and this was blank until until very recently. So any other videos I've done don't have this in there. So this is add elements, and I'm gonna just click on there, and that's gonna bring out these elements here. And AI section generator, let's see what happens there. We're not gonna use that. And then designed section will show you sections that are already laid out for you. So that's interesting. So I would use this. I would use, this clicking add elements is just like clicking this plus button right here, no different. I would not use the AI section generator, but I would use the design sections. They're useful. All right, so back to the 3 things we've got here: header, section, and footer. First of all, we're going to design the header. And to do that, I'm going to go over to this little arrow, up and down arrow, and I'm going to adjust the height. I'm just going to drag this down with my cursor or with my mouse and make this wider. So now I've got a wide header, and the section below it stayed the same, and the footer stayed the same. Now we're going to look at these dotted lines, or dashed lines really, that go down either side of the website. And these are super important. What these mean is that Wix wants you to keep all your content in the center of these dotted lines. And the reason for that is if this website is looked at on a big, huge screen like I'm using right this minute, all your content will show. But also if your website's being looked at on a tablet, which is a much smaller screen, all your content will still show. It's not going to get cut off on the sides. So Wix wants you to keep all your content within these grid lines, as they're called. But obviously, if you build a website with all the content in the grid lines on every page, all the way down, it would just look funny because there'd be these white spots on either side of the site. It would look old-fashioned. It would just look crap. This is the first site I ever built on Wix. And you can see that there are white spaces down either side, so that I was trying to keep everything in the middle, and it just looks old-fashioned, and that's not how we want our site to look today. So what we want to do is we want to figure out ways to be able to build out here, and that is where strips come in. So I'm going to show you a strip. We're going to add a strip here, right here. And there's all kinds of strips that you can add. We're just going to add a classic one, a white one, which, if you'll notice, isn't really white, it's light gray. So you might want to go in and change the background color of the strip. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. You're going to right click here and change background, or you can just click this button and change background color to white. You can also change it to an image or a video. I see all the time people using strips on their website and they don't quite realize that this isn't white, and their websites just kind of look a little dull because they've not got that bright white in the strip background. All right, so we've got a strip here that has 2 grid lines, just like the page and the header and the footer, but we can go into the layout of the strip and add a column. Now that I've added a column, here's one column over to the left. Now the grid lines are here, which means on this strip, on this column, on this strip, I can put all my content here. So I brought it out further to the side. And if I go back into layout again and align the column content to the left, now here is where I can put all my content. And I'm going to do that over on this one too. Now if you go into manage columns, you can add another column and do different things with that. And you can also change the proportion of the columns. So I can make a little skinny column over to the, to one side, and a bigger column over to the other side. And there's all kinds of, and you can actually just kind of move these around like this too, and change your columns ratios. I want it back to the 50%. There we go. Again, I'm just dragging things around, so I've still got a section and a column, 2 columns on a strip, and the header. Now the header, I'm going to add my logo, I'm going to add a call to action button, and I'm going to add a menu. But I don't want my logo to have to be in the center of the header. I want it over to the left side here. So I'm going to take this strip and I'm going to drag it up and attach it to the header. You see there, it popped up a little button that tells me that I'm attaching it to the header. Now I'm going to go back into this bottom header control bar here, and I'm going to drag the header up. So now I've got the header with a strip in it with 2 columns, and I've got the section, and I've still got the footer. But now I can put my logo way over to the left side, and it's going to show up in my website perfectly. This little window's popped up asking me to save my work. As you create your site, it's a good idea to save your work regularly, as I said, and yes it is. So we're going to save it, and that's going to be my domain. So that's your domain name. That's the free domain that Wix has assigned to this website. That's why I said it's fine to publish, because nobody's searching this domain name right now. Nobody's going to see it, so you don't have to worry about publishing or not publishing. And I'm going to click that, and then it always asks me about editing the site for mobile. I don't want to do that yet, so I'm going to say don't show this again and cancel. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly add some things to the header. We're going to add a logo, and we're just going to add some text. I'm going to drag this in. All right, so I'm going to take this text and I'm going to drag that up into the column over here to the left side. Then I'm going to add a button, and we're not going to format anything right now. We're just going to create an outline. Okay, drag that button over there. So there I've got a logo and a button. And remember, on this strip, I still haven't changed the backgrounds. It's still that light gray color, and that's fine. I just want to leave it that way so you can sort of see that it's there. And next, we're going to put the logo also down in the footer. So I'm going to drag this down. Don't neglect your footer. Don't just leave this empty. Your footer goes on every single page on your website. It is great real estate for reiterating who you are, where you are. It's great for adding links to things that maybe you don't want at the very top of the page but are important. You want to put your copyright down there. You want to, maybe have links to things on your site, your legal pages, like your privacy policy, stuff like that. Don't just ignore this. Use your footer. So right now we're going to duplicate. I right-clicked on there, and I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm just going to drag this down here. I don't want this left justified down here. I want this centered. So I'm going to click Edit Text. And I'm going to center that. So we've got that centered. Underneath this, I'd probably be putting my address, my telephone number, and the copyright down here. Let's add the copyright. And we're going to go little tiny text. And I'm going to drag that out. Center that. Now look how I'm centering these things. I can center things horizontally or vertically by using these pink lines, which are wonderful because you don't have to guess whether things are centered or not. All right, so I'm just going to quickly put a copyright in here. And first I'm going to go in and center this text, and I'm going to place my cursor at the front here. On a Mac, to get a copyright symbol, I'm going to go Option G, and there we go. And then it's just, and that should do that. And then, as I said, you can put anything else down here. You can make columns down here just like I did in the header if you want. But we're going to just leave this very simple for now. Now, we want to have a menu up at the top, but we've only got one page, so there's not too much to put in the menu. So I'm going to add some other pages. So to do that, I'm going to go into Pages and Menu. And I'm going to go down into Add Menu Item. And let's put some more pages on this website. So I'm going to add a new page. Obviously, you can add other things. I could add a link to an outside page on another website, or a blog, or an appointment app that you may use. I can add a link to a section on another page or an anchor on another page. But right now, we're just going to add a new page. And Wix is going to offer you all different kinds of pages to choose from that are pre-made. If you see something that you really love, go ahead and add that. But again, remember that these are built out and you'll have to figure out what they are. Like this, for example, is a page full of repeaters. You'll have to know how to use repeaters to use this page. So anyway, we're just going to add a blank page. And this blank page is going to be called About. And then we're going to add a page called Services. And then we're going to add a page called Contact. And if I decide that in the menu I want my services to come first before About, I can just go in here and move these around. I could also move this so that it was a sub page and move it back. I can rearrange my menu in here. How it's going to appear on the menu at the top of the page reflects how it looks on here, unless you use an advanced menu, but we're not going to talk about that today. So I'm going to exit out of here. Now I'm going to add a menu. And I'm just going to add the very top menu, very simplest menu. Now, as I move this around, there it is. It's attaching this to a section. I could attach it to this column, but I'm going to attach it to the header. So I'm dragging it up to the center. I'm waiting for that pink line. There it is. So I know that it's centered, and there we go. Okay, so we've got a menu, a logo, a button on the header. now, and we've got something started in our footer. Now we're going to start something in the main website. Let's do a designed section. Let's click on here and let's go for a really simple welcome section. And we're going to drag and drop this over here. I want to look at what we've got on here. So this is a section, and we're going to right click and we're going to look at overlapping items here. And we're going to go down and see all layers. This is really, really helpful for you. So remember how to do that. Right click and then see all layers. Now this tells me everything that is on this website page. This tells me I've got a header with a strip and 2 columns. And the first column has the logo, and the second column has a button, and then there's a horizontal menu, and here is the page with a section on it, with a container box, which is what this is, with welcome, and there's that text, and there's the button that says start now. And my footer has a logo, text, and the copyright. So I can always go in here and see what I've got on my page. If I can't find something or I don't remember how I did something, this is how you can tell. So for this section background, I think I want to change the image. I can put a video or an image or just make it a color. So I'm going to change the image. I can upload media here, upload my own pictures. I can use media from Wix Shutterstock, which costs like $2.99 a picture, and I think it's $2.99, or Unsplash, which I love the Unsplash pictures. All right, let's just pick something in here. Okay, I've randomly picked an image. So now we have got our home page looking pretty good here. We're going to go in and take off the background gray color on these columns. And actually, I'm just going to go into settings and I'm going to make them see-through. I'm going to make them transparent. So again, to do that, I click on the column, click on change background, settings, and I'm going to make it white and see-through. So now I'm going to go into preview, and here's what the site looks like right now. Image and our footer at the bottom. Now, as you can see, when I move the website up and down, the logo is, the header is frozen. So we're going to go back to the editor and unfreeze that. So I'm going to click on the header, right click on the header, and it's going to change edit header scroll settings. Some people like a frozen header, and for it to stay at the top of the website all the time, it drives me crazy. So I like the header to scroll with the site. So now if I go back into preview, there, so it goes up. All right. And now we can go into this zoom out, and you can see what this does. This will show you the whole page from further away. And this is helpful after you've built the site down and you want to kind of look at what the whole site looks like, or look at what the page looks like design-wise. That's very helpful. So we're going to go back into 100% here. And that is the basis of how you're going to build your site out. From there on, you can click on this section, and if you hover over the bottom of this section, it's just going to ask you to add more. And there we go. There's another one, and down here you can add another one. And so you're just adding sections as you go along. You can put strips over the sections and add columns on top of that. You can use design sections, and that is how you build your site. So that's a simple homepage setup. What you do from here is just keep building sections down the page and filling the sections with your columns and your strips and your pictures and your text until you have everything on the page that you want, and then build your next page and your next page until you have your whole website. I'm going to be creating a bunch of videos building out this page and continuing on from using this page. The next one is going to be how to add the fonts and colors to the website. So you can continue on here and follow along and build your website with me. If you want to buy this exact template done as far as we've gone along now, you can get it for super, super cheap on my website. And I'll just email it to your Wix account, and then you don't have to do everything up until here. But you can do this. You could build this. You can build a Wix site, so you don't have to do that. But you can skip everything that we've done on this video and start from here if you want. And also, the best thing to do is to already have all your content, your pictures, everything ready, so that when you go to build your site, you've got all the tools there to put on the site already. You're not having to stop and go write something or stop and go look for pictures. And if you go to my website, there is a workbook there called 21 Elements You Must Have for your website, and you can get that. It's free, and it'll just give you a list of everything you need to get together ahead of time. That'll save you a lot of frustration while you're building the website. And you can also book a consultation with me if you'd like to do that, and I can have a look at your site for you. See you next time.